In this digital age, our relational problems are simple. It is one word: digital. The problem is human beings have created digital computers that are now outdoing us. It's just like when you sit in front of this computer game. There's nothing you want to do. There's no how you are good at the game that you can outplay that computer. And that's the situation in the home, the situation in our schools, and the situation at work. Digitals have taken the place of human beings. I mean, computers. So, the unfortunate thing is that human beings have not been able to separate reality from the illusional. Just like in our communication, in social media and everything, we're having a problem. No one has taught us yet that what you see on the screen is illusional and delusional. And too much of it becomes delusional, highly confusing. So we have a situation where this young man sits in front of the screen all day, and the woman now is having to compete with the image of a pretty lady whom he met on the screen. Not only that, our women sit in front of the screen half of the day. They are so busy with their lives, market lives, that they do not even have time to bring up that child the way the child ought to be brought up. So the computer plays part of the babysitting roles. Mark my words, what happens is that the TV has a booming sound, has a beautiful sound. The computer has that subtle sound. And even when that TV is off, that is a voice the child still hears. Mothers, if you don't like the way the fathers treat you, it's up to you to stop it. Women, we shouldn't neglect our role. I know most of us say that men are this, men are that. My question is, we have a role to play. Are you doing something different to help your children, the next generation, be different from the experiences you have had or that you are having? Because, mark my words, most women complain about being ignored. The man is busy playing ball, focused on a football game. He doesn't have time for her. If it's not a football game, it is that he's stuck up on some pornography and it goes on and on. But my question is that, or sometimes it's just stuck on some game. My question to all of us is that, are we doing something different, raising the children to be different, or is the first resort iPad or any pad? Because many of us wake up and the first thing in the morning for that child is that iPad. When the child cries, "Mommy, mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy, daddy," daddy's your responsible as well. The first thing is, "Go and play with your iPad, don't disturb me." Really? What we have is a lot of sound going on. We want peace. It's called pseudo peace. But pseudo peace is really crazy because we have lonely people crying out for attention, lonely people, they cannot manage relationships, lonely people who have already gone bonkers, but because they look normal, no one knows what's going on in their heads. No one knows what they're going through. It's like their cry for help is muted. Are we muting the cry of help for our kids? The cry for attention? Because that's what it's going to be in the end. We have men that can no longer communicate. It's all in their heads. They think they have already finished telling you everything. And let's take that back to Genesis. Just remember, in the garden, it was when Adam became kind of busy. He wasn't around for Eve. That was when the serpent came in. My question, because I was never there, did the serpent crawl in to fill in a space? Was Adam too busy nurturing the peacocks in the garden? Was he too busy paying attention to the flowers? Maybe because they were easier to manage than the emotional woman in his house, than the woman he had to repeat things to like 3 times before she heard it once. But Satan, the serpent, was subtle. And he goes like, you know what? Whatever Adam doesn't tell you, I can tell you. Because I was there on that day as well when he was having a conversation with God. Really? Well, the person who had a conversation with God was not there to clarify issues because she had questions. Which of the three? When? How? Why? What? But was Adam there to answer those questions? The fact is, Adam thought that he was going to be exempted from that blame game. He thought that since it wasn't his fault after all, it was a woman that lured him into it. But guess what? It's interlinked. We are interconnected. Who got the first shot? It was Adam. So men, when your woman makes a mistake, you're not exempted. You're not going to say, oh yeah, and that is the problem, or that is the problem we need to deal with in this generation. Men should stop hiding behind computers, digital games, and saying they are not the ones in charge of the homes. They need to be equally responsible and be patient. Remember, that woman in your home is not the computer. She needs to be told something 4 times, especially if she has to run after 3, 4, 1 child. Imagine a woman with a baby, already half her brain is occupied, sincerely speaking. And she is asking you the same thing over and over again, and you're getting impatient. I hope that with a little more enlightenment, with a little more putting ourselves out to make things better, a little more patience, a little more tolerance. We need to put pride in its place before it destroys our pride of place. We need to do things differently so we can have different outcomes. Because at the end of the day, the woman makes a happy home. How many men are happy? How many ladies are happy? The marriage is now like a nightmare. Nobody wants to go into it. Who made it that way? Is it that we are not giving? We're not even ready to give in anything. The issue, I think, really starts with expectations. We need to manage our expectations right. Most people's expectations are not realistic. When you have a job description as a builder, part of the unwritten job description is that you're going to be demolishing things. You'll have to pull out buildings that are dangerous or that are going to be precarious to human lives, or buildings that have their integrity compromised. If you are a planter or an agric person, the unwritten job description is that you'll be pulling out stuff, uprooting things as well. So life is a two-way game. Relationships are a two-way street. Give and take. Going and coming. There's nothing like going and not coming back. When you book an outward journey, you should be ready to book the return trip as well. So if you are planting good crops, you should be ready to weed the tares. You should be ready to take out the plants that are going to kill or take out of the nutrients of your crops. So expectations shouldn't be just positive. No, we learn even more from the bad and nasty experiences. If I remember quite all right, my mom wasn't always sweet with me. In fact, when she raised her voice at me, I think I learned a lot from those things that made her angry. Because the first thing we learn to do in life is what not to do. And if we can learn enough of what not to do, then maybe we are safe. Also, think about the planting that I talked about. If the crop has enough nutrient and doesn't have to compete with so much tares or so many crops, so many weed, then it's able to grow without any stress and with enough nutrients. So maybe the first thing we need to learn is what not to have with us. We need to put things in their places, which means the computer has its place. It is not a replacement for human communication or human relationships. Because, to be honest, families are stressed. Children are depressed. Can you beat it? Do you want to know the number of kids that are going to the hospital because of stress-based diseases? We've got ADD, we've got ADHD. It is unbelievable. A generation that is being put out because of computers. I think we all need to wake up and pay attention before, like those films that we watch, the computers take over and do not listen to us anymore. We're getting to that brink because already there are human beings that have been changed. Their thought processes have been tampered with and hampered right now. They don't reason like human beings anymore. Seriously, they expect perfect from imperfect creatures. Come on, people. Let's wake up. Let's put the computer in its place and live our lives again. I hope we can be happy again. NowGem. Be happy. Live, love,